Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jim James. You're watching Football Special, a recap. And it's going to be a speedy recap this evening. We've got a load of games to go through, so we'll fire through them quickly. Look in the description of this video if you want to watch the highlights of your particular game, maybe a plethora of games. They'll all be in the description of this video. Just click the link. Without further ado, let's get me off there, put me up there. We'll start off with the English Premier League. I'll put my glasses on, that'd help. Starting with Ipswich. They hosted Manchester City today, which, by the way, is Sunday the 19th of January 2025. It's flying. Ipswich 0, Manchester City 6. It started on 27 minutes when Foden put Man City 0-1 into the lead. Just 3 minutes later, Kovacic made it 0-2 to City. And on 42 minutes, Phil Foden again hit the mark, making it 0-3 to Manchester City at half-time. In the second half, didn't take long before the rampage of City continued. Jeremy Doku on 49 minutes, making it 0-4. And that man Haaland, he wasn't going to miss out, was he, on a day like this? He made it 0-5 on 57 minutes. And just to rub salt into the wounds, McAtee, who's been playing well for City lately, he made it 0-6 on 69 minutes. Luckily for Ipswich, that's where the scoring ended, but a thorough drubbing. And Manchester City, they've given Salford a thrashing 8-0 in the FA Cup, and now away at Ipswich a thrashing 0-6 in the Premier League. So is this start of a revival for Manchester City? We'll find out. Stats-wise, Ipswich had just 32% possession. They had 8 attempts on goal. Manchester City had 4 attempts on goal for Ipswich that were on target. Manchester City had 9 attempts on target, scoring 6 of them. Corner kicks, 11 in the game. Yellow cards, just the one. That was for Manchester City. Least said about that, if you're an Ipswich fan, the better, so we'll move on. Everton, they hosted Tottenham Hotspur, an inconsistent Tottenham Hotspur. Everton took the lead on 13 minutes through Calvert-Lewin, and David Moyes now back at the helm. But Goodison would have been happy with that. He'd have been delighted on 30 minutes when Ndai made it 2-0 to Everton. And 7 minutes into added on time at the end of the first half, Gray made it 3-0 to Everton. In the second half, on 77 minutes, Tottenham got their act together and Kulusevski pulled one back, making it 3-1. 2 minutes into added on time, Richarlison made it 3-2, so maybe a little bit of squeaky bum time for Everton fans and all concerned with Everton. But they held on for a 3-2 victory over Tottenham. Stats-wise, Everton had 36% possession, 7 shots on target. Tottenham had 6. Corner kicks, 11 in the game. And yellow cards, 3 in total, 2 for Everton, 1 for Tottenham. 3 vital points for Everton there, though. Moving to Old Trafford, Manchester United, they hosted Brighton. Took just 5 minutes before normal service was resumed for the Red Devils. Minte making it 0-1 to Brighton. Yep, just 5 minutes. 23 minutes, Manchester United got back on level terms with a Bruno Fernandes penalty after Xerxes was fouled. And 1-1 it was at half-time. However, it didn't take long into the second half before Brighton proved they were a much classier side than Manchester United. João Pedro had a goal disallowed for a foul on 53 minutes. And Minte assisted Mitoma on 60 minutes. That wasn't disallowed. Manchester United 1, Brighton 2. And on 76 minutes, Rutter sealed the points for Brighton, making it 1-3. A disappointing day for the Red Devils. Stats-wise, Manchester United had 51% possession, so pretty level there. Shots on target, Manchester United had 1, and that would have been the penalty. Brighton had 3, scoring all of them. Corner kicks, 6 in total. And yellow cards, 3 for United, 3 for Brighton, making it 6 in total. And a thoroughly disappointing day for Manchester United, but not unexpected. Moving on to Nottingham Forest and Southampton. It finished Nottingham Forest 3, Southampton 2. Anderson on 11 minutes opened the scoring for Forest. 28 minutes, Hudson-Odoi made it 2-0 for Forest. And just before half-time on 41 minutes, Wood made it 3-0 to Forest. All going swimmingly well. However, in the second half, Bednarek on 60 minutes pulled one back for Southampton. On 64 minutes, there was a goal disallowed for Nottingham Forest for offside for VAR. And just towards the end, in the 91st minutes, Onuachu made it 3-2. And there was quite a bit of injury time in that game as well. I think there was 12 minutes or something like that added on at the end of the match. So 11, 12 minutes there where Forest would have been wondering if a comeback was on the cards for Southampton, but it was too little too late. And Forest did indeed run out 3-2 winners over Southampton. Stats-wise, Forest had 45% possession. Not surprising, really. They do like to allow the other team to have the ball, do Forest, and then hit them on the break. It's working well for them this season. Shots on goal. Forest had 5, Southampton had 4. Corner kicks, 10 in the game. And yellow cards, 4 in total, all to Southampton. So not an unexpected result, 3-2, but a good fight back and good character shown by Southampton. Moving over to Saturday's games, the tea time kickoff, Arsenal hosted Aston Villa. It was 1-0 at half-time to Arsenal through a 35-minute Martinelli goal. In the second half, on 55 minutes, Kai Havertz made it 2-0 to the Gunners. However, on 60 minutes, Tielemans made it 2-1. And the comeback was complete on 68 minutes when Ollie Watkins made it 2-2. That was with an assist from Matty Cash. In the 87th minute, Arsenal had a goal disallowed by VAR for handball. That was Kai Havertz. And that was the last action of the game, really. It finished Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 2. Stats-wise, Arsenal, 65% possession. 6 shots on target. Villa had 4. 11 corners in the match. And 5 yellow cards in the game. 2 for Arsenal and 3 for Villa. Brentford, they hosted Liverpool, the league leaders. And it was 0-0 at half-time. It was 0-0 until the 91st minute when Darwin Núñez got on the score sheet with an assist from Trent Alexander-Arnold, making it 0-1 to Liverpool. And then just 2 minutes later, Núñez getting a brace with an assist from Harvey Elliott, making it 0-2 to Liverpool. And that was the final result. Brentford worked hard, though, made Liverpool work for it. But when it's your season and you are going to be champions, which I think Liverpool are, these are the kind of games where you get 3 points. And they certainly did today, Liverpool. Stats-wise, 39% possession for Brentford. Shots on target, Brentford had 6, Liverpool had 8. 17 corners in the match, 15 of them to Liverpool. And yellow cards-wise, 5 in the match. So Liverpool take all 3 points. Leicester, they hosted Fulham. It was 0-0 at half-time. In the 48th minute, Emile Smith-Rowe made it 0-1 to Fulham. And on 68 minutes, Traore, with an assist from Wilson, made it 0-2 to Fulham. That is the way it ended. Stats-wise, Leicester had 38% possession. Shots on target, Leicester had 4. Fulham had just the 2. They made both of them count, though. Corner kicks, 7 in the game. And yellow cards, 4 in total. Disappointing result, and a disappointing run continues for Leicester. West Ham, they hosted Crystal Palace. 0-0 at half-time. On 48 minutes, though, Mateta, with an assist from Eze, made it 0-1 to Crystal Palace. And on 89 minutes, a Mateta penalty sealed the points for Crystal Palace. It was made a little bit easier from the 80th minute because Mavropanos, he received a second yellow card for West Ham and got his marching orders. Stats-wise, West Ham, they had 53% possession. They had no shots on goal, 0 shots on goal at home. The fans aren't going to be happy with that. And Crystal Palace had 7. Corner kicks in the game, just 6. Quite a few yellow cards. 3 for West Ham, 0 for Crystal Palace. 1 red card for West Ham also. So it's not, it's a weekend to forget if you're a West Ham fan. And rounding off this weekend, it's round 22. The Premier League match was Newcastle and Bournemouth. Bit of a turn up here as well. Clivert on 6 minutes with an assist from Semenyo made it 0-1 to Bournemouth. Guimaraes equalised for the Toon on 25 minutes, making it 1-1. But on 44 minutes, Clivert on the mark again, making it 1-2 to Bournemouth. That's the way it stayed until half-time. In the second half, a goal was disallowed by VAR for Bournemouth, Utara. Doesn't say what it was for, so I'll assume offside, but it's only an assumption. It doesn't actually say. However, 92 minutes in, that man Clivert on the score sheet again, making it 1-3 for Bournemouth. And in the 96th minute, Kirkes wrapped things up, making it 1-4. So a good afternoon for Bournemouth. Bit of a shocker for Newcastle and out of character because they have been going great guns. They had 55% possession, Newcastle. Shots on target, they had 5. Bournemouth had 10. Corner kicks, it was 13 for in the match, 7 for Newcastle. And yellow cards, 7 in total. Leagues-wise, let's have a look at the standings. It is Liverpool, top of the league, 50 points. Arsenal in second on 44 points. Liverpool have also got a game in hand as well. Forest, with that victory, they remain in third place. Well, they would have done anyway, but they're on 44 points. Manchester City back into the top 4 on 38 points, level with Newcastle, who dropped 3 points at home today. So Manchester City have got 3 better goal difference, which is a difference at the moment between Champions League football and Europa football. It's obviously going to change before the end of the season, though, but that's where we stand currently. And Chelsea, they're in the final European place on 37 points, level on points with Bournemouth, but they've got a 5 better goal difference. So it's getting quite tight at the top for European places. I'm still convinced that Liverpool have got this title won already. Moving down to the bottom of the table, it looks like Southampton have gone. It looks like Leicester, if they don't turn things around pretty quickly, Leicester are going to be in real trouble. Ipswich, all right, yeah, they've lost the last 2. But when you look who they've been playing, Brighton, no shame in losing to Brighton. And obviously no shame in losing to Manchester City, but that 6 doesn't help their goal difference either. And they're on minus 23 currently. Looking at Wolves, they're level on points with Ipswich, but they've got a better goal difference. And then you're looking at Everton and Tottenham. My guess is it's going to be from the bottom 6 who's going to get relegated. Southampton have pretty much gone. I don't think Leicester are going to do anything, although you never know. It's been done before. But it's between Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, Wolves and Everton. I don't think Tottenham will go down. I don't think West Ham will go down. I don't think Manchester United will go down. I think Crystal Palace, then you're looking at 12th place. They're on 27 points. I can't see how it's going to be anyone other than the bottom six. But you never know. But that's my view at the moment. Right, let's move on to, because we're going to try and do a speedy one, really. Just to say as well, all the links to these matches, if you want to watch the highlights, they're in the description of this video. Use that facility. There's plenty of games there. If you want to just click on your team, have a look for it. It should be there. If you want to watch through all of the Premiership games, all of the highlight links are there. Moving over to Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday, who played earlier on this afternoon. It finished Leeds 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. We'll go through the scores quickly. Coventry 1, Bristol City 0. Derby 0, Watford 2. Luton 0, Preston 0. Oxford United 1, Blackburn 0. I was talking to an Oxford fan earlier, and he was saying with the management team they've got in, they've been brought in, they're not going to go down, but they're always going to be a mid-table in the Championship kind of team, which at the minute, if you were a Plymouth Argyle fan, you would take. So, yeah, quite happy with Oxford's performance currently. Beating Blackburn 1-0 was a good result for Oxford. Portsmouth 2, Middlesbrough 1, good result for Portsmouth there. They need that. Sheffield United 2, Norwich 0. West Brom 1, Stoke 1. Cardiff 3, Swansea 0. Big South Wales derby there. We were hoping for a report from Ben James. He went watching that. It never came through, and I've not heard from him since. So, like I said, he's either been arrested, went on the beer, or he's done something else, but he didn't send us a report in. Can't get the staff. Millwall 0, Hull City 1. Good result for Hull. Plymouth 0, QPR 1. Didn't expect anything else, really. And Burnley 0, Sunderland 0. That was a Friday night game. Let's have a look at the league standings for the Championship. Leeds still at the top with that victory over Sheffield Wednesday. They're on 56 points. In second place, we have got Sheffield United just 1 point behind on 55. Third place, Burnley on 53. In fourth, Sunderland on 51. Blackburn, they remain in fifth place on 42, despite that defeat today. And West Brom sit in the final playoff spot on 41 points. Level, though, with Middlesbrough and Watford, but they have got a superior goal difference. Not by much, though. Moving to the bottom of the table. Well, Plymouth are rooted at the bottom currently. And Luton in next to bottom in 23rd on 26 points, level with Portsmouth in 22nd place on 26 points. That's your bottom three. But if you look at that table there, you've got Hull on 26 points, so out of the drop zone on goal difference. But Cardiff, Derby, Stoke, Millwall, Preston, even Oxford currently, and then if you're saying Oxford, you could say Coventry, could get drawn into a relegation battle. So it's going to be a real interesting end to the second half of the season now. In the Championship, it's tight at the top. It's even tighter for relegation at the bottom. So, yeah, we're going to have a good run in, that is for sure. Moving over to League One. All these games were played yesterday on Saturday. Birmingham 1, Exeter 0. Exeter going down to 10 men there, as you can see. Bolton 2, Cambridge 2. Cambridge took the lead twice in that game, and Bolton pulling back level. Bristol Rovers 3, Barnsley 1. Crawley 1, Burton 1. Mansfield 1, Wickham 2. Reading 1, Stockport 3. Rotherham 4, Charlton 2. Northampton 0, Lincoln 1. Don't want to miss out. Stevenage 1, Wigan 2. Both teams getting a player sent off there. Blackpool 2, Huddersfield 2, Peterborough 0, Leyton Orient 0, and a game played, I think it was last Thursday, Shrewsbury 2, Wrexham 1. Let's have a look at the standings for Sky Bet League 1. At the top, with that victory, Birmingham stay in first place on 56 points. Wycombe with that victory are hot on the heels in second place on 54 points, but Birmingham have got 2 games in hand there. Wrexham in third on 51 points. Huddersfield in fourth on 48 points. Barnsley fifth on 42 points. And in the final playoff spot, Stockport on 41 points. Stockport are level on points though with Reading, but they've got an 8 better goal difference. How Stockport. Down at the bottom, Burton 15 points. In 23rd place, Cambridge on 18 points. 22nd place, Shrewsbury on 20 points. And in 21st place, Crawley on 21 points. We've then got a little bit of a gap to Northampton, but Crawley have got 2 games in hand. If they were to win those, Northampton would be in the drop zone. However, you've got to win them. Looking at the bottom of the table, it looks like it could be up to 17th place, possibly Wigan getting drawn into a relegation battle. You could have Wigan, Bristol Rovers, Peterborough, Northampton, then actually in the bottom for Crawley, Shrewsbury, Cambridge United and Burton. It's going to be tight at the bottom as well. Let's move over to the Sky Bet League 2. Accrington 0, Notts County 3. AFC Wimbledon 2, Tranmere 0. Tranmere getting a player sent off as well, which is it's starting to become a little bit ubiquitous for Tranmere, isn't it? Getting a player sent off. Empire Maker won't be happy with that. Bromley 0, Colchester 1. Grimsby 1, Chesterfield 1. Morecambe 0, Crewe 1. Port Vale 3, Newport 2. Newport getting a red card there. Salford 0, Fleetwood 2. Good result that for Fleetwood. Salford been going great guns. Salford having a player sent off. Swindon 2, Barrow 0. Walsall 4, MK Dons 1. MK Dons took the lead in that match early on, but Walsall showed the class and came back with a comprehensive victory there. Carlisle 0, Bradford City 1. Gillingham 0, Doncaster 1. And finally, Harrogate 2, Cheltenham 0. Standings wise, Walsall still way out at the top, aren't they? 58 points they've got, and a game in hand over Crewe in second. We were on 46 points. Port Vale with a victory. They are now on 44 points in third. Then playoff places. AFC Wimbledon in fourth on 43 points, level with Notts County and Doncaster, all on 43 points. And despite that defeat in the final playoff place, Salford remain in that final playoff place on 42 points. Bradford City, though, chasing them hard, just 1 point behind. Down at the bottom of the league, Carlisle still bottom on 18 points. Morecambe just 1 off the bottom, they're on 20 points. And now 5 points off the lead, off the bottom of the table, sorry. No, 5 points off the drop zone, Tranmere Rovers. But they have got that 5 points, but the next place downwards is in the drop zone. So Nigel Adkins' men, they're going to have to get the finger out and start getting some results together. Empire Maker, he's always in the chat. He will be getting a little bit nervous now. Let's move over to National League. Just get a quick drink. Maidenhead hosted AFC Fylde. It was Maidenhead 4, AFC Fylde 1. Braintree 1, Solihull Moors 0. Second game in a row where Solihull Moors have lost the lead gone down and not been able to come back to take the lead, which is their forte, really. But not so easy at the moment for them. Eastleigh 1, Altrincham 2. Eastleigh getting a player sent off. Forest Green 1, Rochdale 0. Oldham 1, Aldershot 3. Oldham took the lead early on in that game, but Aldershot came roaring back for victory. Southend 0, Barnet 3. Tamworth 3, Boston United 0. Wealdstone 1, Hartlepool 1. Woking 1, Ebbsfleet 1. York City 1, Sutton 2. And Yeovil 0, Gateshead 0. Let's have a look at the league standings. In the Vanarama National League. Good name, that. At the top, Forest Green. They stay there after their victory over Rochdale. And Barnet in second on 54 points. York City third on 51 points. Then we've got Gateshead, Oldham, Altrincham and Solihull Mowers all in the playoff places there. And it's quite tight at the top. Down the bottom, we have got Ebbsfleet on 12 points, plumb bottom of the league. In 23rd, we've got Boston United on 16 points. Then we've got AFC Fylde in 22nd with 22 points. And Wealdstone, they're in 21st place with 25 points. That's your bottom four. Just outside of it, you have got Maidenhead, Braintree, Aldershot, Woking. All are going to be looking over the shoulders, that is for sure. Moving on to the National League North. Starting with Buxton 1, Peterborough Sports 3. Chester 2, Alfreton 0. Chorley 2, Scunthorpe 2. Curzon Ashton 0, Brackley Town 1. Hereford 1, Southport 1. Kidderminster 2, Warrington 0. They had a player sent off, Warrington as well there. Kings Lynn 3, Marine 1. Leamington 2, Darlington 1. Darlington seeing red in that match. And big game. Needham Market 1, Radcliffe 1. Bottom four clash there. Both teams getting a share of the spoils. Spennymoor 7, Rushall 0. And Farsley 0, Scarborough 5. Standings wise in the National League North. Kidderminster on top on 49 points. Kings Lynn in second on 48 points. Chester in third on 46 points. You've then got Brackley in the playoff spot, also on 46 points. Scunthorpe on 45 points. Curzon Ashton in sixth on 45 points. And Chorley hanging on to the coattails in seventh in the final playoff spot on 40 points. Down at the bottom, tight at the bottom, Needham Market in 24th on 19. In 23rd, you've got Rushall on 21. Marine in 22nd place, also on 21. And Radcliffe in 21st with 22 points. But just above the drop zone, you've got Farsley with 24 points. Warrington on 24. Oxford City on 28. And then there's a little bit of a gap there to Southport in 17th. So you're looking at probably the bottom 7 at the moment. Your four relegations are probably going to come from that bottom 7. Good league. Good league to watch, that. National League North. Moving over to the Southern League Premier Central. AFC Telford 2, Stamford 0. Alfchurch 3, Barwell 2. Banbury 0, Bishop Stortford 0. Bromsgrove 0, Leiston 1. Hitchin 3, Biggleswade Town 1. Lowestoft 1, Stourbridge 2. Lowestoft down to 10 men in that match. Redditch 3, Kettering 2. Royston 0, Harborough 2. Spalding United 3, Stratford 0. St Ives 1, Bedford 2. And finally, Sudbury 0, Hales Owen 0. Standings-wise in the Southern League Premier Central. Top of the table, we've got AFC Telford on 46 points. Kettering in second on 44 points. Stratford in third on 43 points. Halesoe in fourth on 43. Bedford in fifth on 43. Real tight at the top of the table. You've got Harborough, Spalding United, Stamford, Leiston, all on the tails of the top six. Well, top five. But it's real tight at the top there. Down at the bottom, it looks like Biggleswade Town. It's curtains for them. They've got just 12 points. In 21st place, you've got Hitchin on 27 points. Sudbury in 20th on 28 points and Barwell in 19th on 29 points. That's your bottom four. But just above the drop zone, you've got Lowestoft, Bromsgrove, Bishop Stortford, Banbury, St Ives, Alvechurch. It is going to be a relegation battle for the bottom. Could be 10, could be 12. But you could go from looking over your shoulder to looking above. It's that kind of league. So yeah, a real tight league, that Southern League Premier Central. Moving on to Southern League Premier South. AFC Totton 2, Gosport 1. Gosport having 2 players sent off. Dorchester 1, Bracknell 0. Gloucester 2, Sholing 1. Hanwell Town 1, Tiverton 1. Haventon Waterlooville 0, Merthyr Town 1. Marlow 0, Plymouth Parkway 2. Big result for Plymouth Parkway. Poole 1, Basingstoke 0. Swindon South 1, Chertsey 0. Taunton 2, Wimborne 2. Walton and Hersham 1, Hungerford 1. And Winchester 1, Frome 3. Let's have a look at the table. At the top, Merthyr Town. Still quite comfortable there, aren't they, on 60 points. In second place, you've got Totton on 51 points. Gloucester in third on 48. Dorchester in fourth on 46. Haventon Waterlooville on 40 in the final playoff spot. Down at the bottom, Marlow on 16 points. In 21st place, Frome on 20 points. In 20th, you've got Tiverton with 23 points. And in 19th place, Hungerford on 27 points. That's your bottom four. Just above the bottom four, though, there's a plethora of teams. You've got Sholing, Winchester, Plymouth Parkway, Poole, Wimborne, Hanwell Town, Chertsey. I mean, you can go up to sort of 9th in the table and they could either be looking over the shoulder or you could be trying to push for a playoff spot. Another fantastic league. That's the Southern League Premier South. And finally in England, we've got the Istiman League. Potters Bar 1, Chatham 0. That game was played earlier today. Then on Saturday, it was Billericay, didn't do it, 2. Dulwich Hamlet 0. Cheshunt 1, Whitehawk 4. Cheshunt down to 10 men. Chichester 1, Bowes and Pitsea 0. Cray Valley 4, Bognor Regis 0. Folkestone 4, Canby Island 2. Canby Island down to 10 men. Hashtag 2, Dover 1. Hastings 1, Cray Wanderers 2. Hendon 0, Carshalton 3. Lewes 0, Horsham FC 2. And finally, Wingate and Finchley 1, Dartford 2. Dartford down to 10 men in that game. Standings-wise in the Istiman League Premier Division, Billericay on top with 54 points. Dover in second on 52 points. Cray Valley third on 52. Dartford fourth on 51. And Horsham FC fifth on 50 points. Tight at the top between the top five. A little bit of a gap then to Chichester in sixth on 41 points. So it looks like the top five have it. It's just going to be in what order they finish the season. Down the bottom of the table, Bognor Regis in 22nd spot on 16 points. 21st, Bowes and Pitsea on 18 points. Hastings in 20th on 23, and in 19th spot, you've got Hendon on 26 points and having a shocking run, Hendon. Just outside the drop zone, you've got Whitehawk, Cheshunt, Canvey Island, Dulwich Hamlet, Wingate and Finchley. Possibly lose. So up to 13th, it could be a relegation battle. And I think it's going to be a relegation battle as opposed to looking to get into them playoff places because the top five have got that sewn up to now. Moving over to the Scottish Premiership. No games played this weekend because it was the Scottish Cup. In the Championship, there was no games played due to the Cup. And just the one game played in League One. It finished Annan 0, Inverness 3. Have a look at the standings in the League One. Annan, with that loss, they're getting dragged towards Inverness. And that's all there is to say about that, really. It looks like it's curtains for Dumbarton. It's not helping Inverness, is it, with that 15-point deduction? But they're playing hard to get out of the bottom two. But it is going to be a struggle. Next up, we'll have the Scottish League 2. 3 games played over this weekend, round 21. It was Peterhead 3, Stirling 2, Stranraer 0, East Fife 2, and Clyde 0, Edinburgh City 2. Standings wise, East Fife still on top spot on 42 points. Peterhead in 4th on 40. Then a little bit of a gap to Elgin in 3rd on 33 points. And Edinburgh City, they're in 4th place on 31 points. Down the bottom, Forfar are in 10th on 15 points. Stranraer just above them, as are Bonnyrigg Rose. And there we go. Scottish FA Cup weekend it was. Or the Scottish Cup. I don't think they call it the FA Cup, do they? I think that's Wales. Scottish Cup. Either way. We have got on Monday Dundee FC and Dundee United there to play. That should be a good game. Local derby as well. You can throw a stone between those two grounds. Sunday, today's games. Rangers 5, Fraserburgh 0. Falkirk 1, Wraith 1 at full time. Wraith going through after extra time, 2 goals to 1. Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 1. Broxburn 0, United 8. Cove Rangers 2, Forfar 0. Dumbarton 1, Erdrionians 5. Erdrionians almost kept a clean sheet as well, just in the dying embers there. Dumbarton managed to get on the score sheet. Dunfermline 3, Stenhousemuir 0. Elgin 0, Aberdeen 3. Elgin down to 10 men. Hamilton 3, Musselburgh 1. Hibernian 3, Clydebank 0. Queen of the South 1, St Mirren 3. Queen's Park 2, Montrose 2. After extra time, Queen's Park went through 3 goals to 2. Ross County 2, Livingston 2. Livingston going through 3-2 after extra time. St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 0. And Brechin 1, Hearts 4. That's your Scottish Cup results. Nothing in the Scottish, nothing to report really in Wales apart from last Thursday night's game, Connors Quay 0, Barlowtown 2. In the FA Cup in Wales, that starts in February. League Cup's the end of the month. The final, end of February, sorry, Aberystwyth and TNS. So very little in Wales this weekend, football-wise. Moving over to Northern Ireland, the Sports Direct Premiership. Carrick Rangers 0, Ballymena 0. Cliftonville 2, Loughgall 0. Coleraine 0, Crusaders 2. Glentoran 0, Larne 0. That game was abandoned due to technical problems. I can only assume that that was something to do with a power cut or something, but no more details. Portadown 1, Linfield 3. And last Friday night, was it? Or Thursday night, Dungannon 2, Glenavon 3. Standings-wise, Linfield top of the table on 54 points. Well clear of Dungannon in second place, who were on 39 points, and Linfield have a game in hand. Glentoran in third on 38 points, and Portadown in fourth on 37 points. Down the bottom, you've got Loughgall on just 13 points, having lost the last 5. Carrick Rangers in 11th on 22 points. Moving on to the Northern Ireland Championship. This was a good game. Just before half-time, there was goals going in left, right and centre. It finished Ards 4, Armagh 2. Ballyclare 2, Institute 2. Harland and Wolf Welders 4, Ballinamallard 0. Limavady 4, Dundela 0. Newington 0, Anna 3. And Newry City 2, Bangor FC 1. Standings-wise in the Northern Irish Championship, Bangor FC on top on 51 points, Limavady in second on 45. Down the bottom, Newington on 18, and in 11th, Newry City on 21 points. No games in the Irish Cup, that's the end of the month. No games in the Irish League, that's the final in March between Cliftonville and Glentoran. Premier Division Ireland, there was no fixtures this weekend. It's kind of their closed season. So we'll move over to Europe now, starting with the Bundesliga. Leverkusen 3, Borussia Mönchengladbach 1. Bayern 3, Wolfsburg 2. Bochum 3, Leipzig 3. Leipzig had a 3-0 lead at half-time in that game. Bochum came roaring back, though, and completed the comeback late on in the game, sharing the points. Heidenheim 0, St. Pauli 2. Kiel 1, Hoffenheim 3. Stuttgart 4, Freiburg 0. And Frankfurt 2, Dortmund 0. Links to the highlights of them games are in the description of this video. Standings-wise for the Bundesliga, top of the league sit Bayern on 45 points. Leverkusen in second on 41 points. Frankfurt third on 36 points. Stuttgart in fourth on 32 points. Then you've got RB Leipzig 31, and the final European place goes to Mainz in sixth on 28 points. Bottom of the league is Bochum. They're on 10 points. Kiel in 17th place on 11 points, and Heidenheim, they're in 16th place on just 14 points. Moving over to La Liga. Monday night football is Villarreal and Mallorca. This weekend's games, round 20. They start with Getafe 1, Barcelona 1. Betis 1, Alaves 3. Betis going down to 10 men. Leganés 1, Atletico Madrid 0. Bit of a shock there. Girona 1, Sevilla 2. And Espanyol 2, Valladolid 1. Standings-wise, how does that loss for Atletico Madrid affect the league? Drops them down a place. Real Madrid take over at the top on 46 points. Atletico in second on 44 points. Barcelona in third on 39 points. Athletic Bilbao in fourth on 39 points. Villarreal in fifth on 30. And the final European spot is Mallorca in sixth on 30 points. Down the bottom, we've got Valladolid on 15 points. In 19th, we've got Valencia on 16 points. They managed to get a win at Real Sociedad 1-0 Valencia, so takes them off the bottom. Espanyol are in 18th place on 19 points. Just above the drop zone, though, you've got Alaves, Getafe, Leganés, Las Palmas, possibly Celta Vigo, even Betis. So it's going to be tight at the bottom in La Liga. Moving on to the Copa del Rey, no fixtures this weekend. Serie A. On Monday, we have got Como and Udinese. Yesterday, we had Atalanta. They hosted Napoli. It finished Atalanta 2, Napoli 3. Juventus 2, AC Milan 0. Bologna 3, Monza 1. And last week's game was AS Roma 3, Genoa 1. But that was a round 21 game. Let's have a look out at the standings in Serie A. Are taking shape. Napoli, 5 wins in a row. They sit top on 50 points. Inter in second on 47 points, with Atalanta in third on 43 points. Lazio in fourth on 39 points, with Juventus in fifth on 37 points. Fiorentina, they sit in that final European place on 33 points. Level with Bologna, but Fiorentina have got a better goal difference. Down at the bottom, we've got Monza on 13 points, Venezia on 15 points, and the final drop zone spot in 18th is Verona on 19 points. They level with Como, but goal difference keeps Como out of the bottom 3. Lecce, Parma, Empoli, Calgary, Genoa, Torino, all could be in a relegation battle this season, it looks like. But that is your Serie A standings. Moving over to no Coppa Italia games until February. Over to France now, League One. Lyon 0, Toulouse 0. Rennes 1, Brest 2. And Lens 1, PSG 2. Lille 2, Nice 1, Montpellier 2, Monaco 1. Standings wise, not that tight at the top, is it? PSG look like they've got it sewn up. They sit top spot, 46 points. In second, Marseille are on 37 points. A little bit of a gap then to Lille in third on 32 points. Monaco in fourth on 31 points. Nice in fifth on 30 points. Lyon in the final European place on 29 points. Down at the bottom, Montpellier in 18th on 12 points. Le Havre in 17th on 13 points. And in 16th place, Saint Etienne on 17 points. That's the final drop spot, really. However, also on 17 points, you've got Nantes and Rennes. And you've got Reims on 21 points, Angers on 22, Auxerre on 22. So there again, up to 11th place in League One over in France. Could be a relegation battle. Moving over to Eredivisie. Go Ahead Eagles 2, Groningen 1, Wilhelm 2, 1, Feyenoord 1, Utrecht 0, Alkmaar 0, and finally Zwolle 3, PSV 1. Bit of a shock there. Standings wise, PSV still sit top on 46 points. Ajax in second on 45 points. Utrecht in third on 40 points. Feyenoord fourth on 36 points. Then we go down to 8th for the Conference League places in Europe with Twente, Alkmaar, Go Ahead Eagles and Sittard all battling it out for that European place. Down the bottom, Valdwick, can never say it, in 18th place on just 8 points. In 17th, Almere City on 10 points. And in 16th place, Sparta Rotterdam on 14 points. Tight-ish at the bottom there. And the final league we will go to is Belgium, Jupiler Pro League. Club Brugge 4, Beerschot 2, KV Mechelen 1, Genk 2, Dender 0, Cercle Bruges 1, Dender down to 10 men in that game, and Ghent 1, Charleroi 1. That was round 22 in Belgium. Standings-wise, Genk still on top spot with 48 points. Club Brugge in second on 47 points. Down the bottom, we have got Beerschot in 16th on 13 points. Next up in 15th is Kortrijk on 18 points. And that is the Belgium Jupiler Pro League standings. And that will round off today's Football Special Recap, Sunday the 19th of January. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, ping that notification bell, and if you can give us a thumbs up, that's superb. Check out the description of the video for highlights to the games that are available. There's lots of them tonight. Also, we've got 3 stream supporters for tonight. We have got jalexpetproducts.co.uk, heavenlypleasures.co.uk, and removepests.co.uk. Links in the description along with the promo codes. Use them on checkout and grab yourselves a bargain. All that's left for me to say is, I'm Jimmy James. You've been watching Football Special Recap here on Catch It Live First. Enjoy what's left of your Sunday evening and the weekend.